Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, is set to commence the commissioning of 6 road projects across the 6 area councils starting today, Monday. This was contained in a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the FCT Minister of Public Communication and New Media, Lere Olayinka. According to the statement, the commissioning will kick off with the newly constructed 5-kilometer Naharati River Ukia to Unguwan Hausawa Road along the 3-span river bridge in the Abaji Area Council, among others. The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Tax Policy and Fiscal Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has disclosed that the National Assembly will pass the controversial tax reform bills into law in the first quarter of 2025. Speaking at the weekend, Oyedele also says the implementation of the tax reform bills will commence in July, adding that the National Assembly is expected to resume deliberations on the bills after the suspension of actions on it last year. The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics has expressed its support for the bill currently before the National Assembly to establish a National Polytechnic Commission. ASUP President Shama Banja confirmed this in a statement in Abuja, noting that the bill had received full support from stakeholders during a public hearing in August 2024. The bill, which is sponsored by Igariwe, is awaiting its final reading and passage at the House of Representatives. One person has been killed and houses razed following a communal clash between Ndieguzu, Agalegu, Omege, and Uku Unyima communities in the Iko local government area of Ebonyi State. The incident happened over the weekend, but in a statement, the spokesperson of the Ebonyi State Police Command, Joshua Ukandu, says the 2 youths from the communities fought, and one of them from Omege was stabbed and later died at the hospital. Ukandu noted that the incident led to many injuries after suspected hoodlums attacked the community, adding that the police mobilized and stopped them from inflicting future damage. He further noted that normalcy has returned as the suspect who stabbed the victim to death has been arrested. The Akwa Ibom State government has confirmed a cholera outbreak in Emeroke community located in Eastern Obolo local government area. In a statement, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patrick Essiet, revealed that the state epidemiologist has been sent to the area to begin awareness campaigns aimed at controlling the spread of the disease. Essiet recommended that residents observe proper hand washing practices, particularly after using the toilets, and advised boiling drinking water before consumption. The Edo State Police Command has deployed more men to secure the venue of the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal venue in Benin City, the state capital, following escalating tensions during the first week of hearing at the High Court complex on Sapele Road. In an interview, the command said it was its responsibility to ensure that there was no breach of peace at the venue of the tribunal sitting, following reported shooting and a clash of supporters of the ruling All Progressives Congress at the People's Democratic Party. The Defense Headquarters has said that troops of Operation Fasanyama has killed terrorist kingpin Bello Tuji's son and many of his fighters during clearance operations. The operations that were conducted on January 17th along Shinkafi, Kagara, Fakai, Moriki, Maiwa, and Chindo axis also led to the destruction of the terrorist logistic base. A statement by the outgoing Director of Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said Turji's son was killed at Fakai High Ground, where the terrorists were hiding. He declared Turji a coward for abandoning his son and fighters during the operations. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has announced the 2025 Hajj Fair, with intending pilgrims from southern states expected to pay 8.7 million naira, while those from Borno and Adamawa zones will pay 8.3 million naira. The Commission's chairman, Professor Abdullahi Usman, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja by NACON's Assistant Director of Information and Publication, Fatima Usara. Usman, who described the fair as the result of extensive deliberations with key stakeholders, including the presidency and state pilgrims boards, noted that intending pilgrims from the northern zone will pay 8.4 million naira for the pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia. Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja to represent Nigeria at the 2025 annual meeting of the World Economic Forum scheduled for Davos, Switzerland. Stanley Nkwocha, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, in a statement, says Shettima will join world leaders, top business executives and representatives of development partners at the meeting to discuss the state of the world economy with a view to improving its conditions. He stated that while in Davos, the Vice President will hold bilateral meetings with other leaders as well as participate in workshops and forums slated for the annual gathering. The federal government has expressed its condolences to the government and people of Niger following Saturday's petrol tanker explosion at Diko Junction in Gurara local government area. Professor Nantewe Yewada, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, described the incident in a statement as tragic, noting that it claimed many lives and caused extensive property damages. Nigeria and Egypt have reached an agreement to enhance their diplomatic relationship and establish a comprehensive partnership aimed at addressing shared challenges and fostering development. The announcement was made by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a statement issued in Abuja by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar's Special Assistant on Media and Communication Strategy, Al-Kazim Abdul-Qadir. The agreement was the outcome of the third round of political consultations held in Cairo between Tugar and his Egyptian counterpart, Badr Abdelati. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has stopped an attempt by a 26-year-old nursing student, Esther Onyechi Uzodimma, to smuggle 76 wraps of cocaine in India. A statement by the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, says Esther, a 200-level student at Noida International University, Uttar Pradesh, was apprehended at Royal Park Hotel, Sabongari, Kano, hours before her scheduled Qatar Airways flight to Delhi on 17th January 2025. Troops of the Nigerian Army have destroyed 23 illegal artisanal refineries and apprehended 25 suspected operators during an anti-bunkering operation conducted in Bayelsa Delta and Rivers States. Spokesman of the Nigerian Army 6th Division in Port Harcourt, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma, disclosed this development in a statement issued revealing that soldiers also seized 14 boats transporting petroleum products and confiscated 45,000 liters of various adulterated petroleum products during the raids. You're watching the live broadcast of the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. When Midday News returns, Nigerian Labour Congress votes fresh petrol price hike, says federal government insensitive. We'll bring you details of this as well as business, foreign and sports stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the Midday News. The Nigerian Labour Congress has frowned on the recent hike in the pump prices of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. describing it as the height of insensitivity against the masses. Senior NLC officials disclosed this in a separate interviews as oil marketers refuted being blamed for the recent hike in PMS prices nationwide. Similarly, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery also said the rise in petrol price was not from the $20 billion Lekki base plant, but due to an increase in the cost of crude oil, the major component for refined petroleum products. In business, the Securities and Exchange Commission has warned that capital market operators who fail to renew their registration for the year 2025 by January 31st risk severe penalties and exclusion from market activities. This was disclosed in a circular issued by the Commission reminding CMOs to commence the annual renewal process between January 1st and January 31st, 2025. The Commission emphasized that the renewal process must be completed via its electronic portal, adding that CMOs without valid registration will face penalties. The Nigerian equity market experienced a loss last week, shedding 1.45 trillion naira in market capitalization. The all-share index fell by 2.94%, closing the week at 102,353.68 points, while the market's capitalization also dropped by 2.26% to 62.85 trillion naira. A total of 2.252 billion shares, valued at 58.83 billion naira, were traded in 63,657 deals, the decrease compared to the 4.698 billion shares worth 85.4 billion naira traded in 72,562 deals in the previous week. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has put its 2025 economic growth at 3.1%, painting a picture of high crude demand, which could culminate in higher prices of crude, increased refining costs, and high prices of petrol and other petroleum products. With the rise in crude oil prices to more than $80 per barrel from $74 per barrel last week, Dangote Petroleum Refinery increased its wholesale price to 950 naira per litre from 895 naira per litre, while retail prices rose between 1,050 naira and 1,150 naira per litre, depending on locations in Lagos and its environs. According to OPEC report, the high demand for crude oil will be driven by economic expansion in some countries, including China and India, major buyers of Nigeria's crude oil. Bitcoin hits a record high above $109,000 as Donald Trump, who has signaled plans to regulate the cryptocurrency sector, prepares to be sworn in as U.S. president. Bitcoin surged to reach an all-time peak at $109,241 ahead of Trump's inauguration ceremony, before falling back to $107,765 at around 7:40 GMT. The world's biggest cryptocurrency has soared since Trump won the presidential election in November, with Bitcoin surpassing $100,000 for the first time in early December. On the foreign scene, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has said that he would implement anti-immigration measures from day one of his second term in office. He stated this on the eve of his inauguration in Washington, adding that all illegal border trespassers will, in some form or another, be on their way back home. While there has been a rise in crime in some areas in the U.S., experts attribute this complex Experts attribute this to complex socio-political causes. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has congratulated US President-elect Donald Trump ahead of his inauguration, expressing confidence that the special relationship between the two nations will continue to flourish 4 years to come. Stemmer paid tribute to the debt of friendship between the 47th president and the UK and pledged to continue to work together to ensure the success of both countries and deliver for people on both sides of the Atlantic. Donald Trump will be sworn in for a historic second term as U.S. president, promising a new golden age for America as the world braces for a return of his unpredictable leadership. Freezing weather has forced the 78-year-old's inauguration at the U.S. Capitol indoors, but the first hours of the most extraordinary comeback in American politics will be a blaze of activity. The Republican vowed to unleash a blitz of executive orders undoing Joe Biden's legacy upon his return to the White House and to launch immediate deportations of undocumented migrants. Meanwhile, China has urged the United States to listen to rational voices over the social media platform TikTok as a law banning the widely popular app on national security grounds came into effect. South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol had his mugshot taken and underwent a physical check before spending his first night in jail as a criminal suspect. Yoon was arrested in a drone raid, becoming first sitting South Korean head of state to be detained in the criminal probe on insurrection charges over his botched declaration of martial law. According to Shin Young-hae, Commissioner General of the Korea Correctional Service, Yoon has given a 12-square-meter cell to Seoul Detention Center in Uwang after a court approved his formal arrest warrant on Sunday, citing concerns he will destroy evidence. A fragile ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war is held following the dramatic exchange of 3 hostages for 90 Palestinian prisoners in an agreement aimed at ending more than 15 months of war in Gaza. The 3 hostages released on Sunday, all women, were reunited with their families and taken to hospital in central Israel, where a doctor said they were in stable condition, and hours later in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Palestinian prisoners released by Israel left Offa prison on buses, with jubilant crowds celebrating their arrival. As the ceasefire took effect, thousands of displaced, war-weary Palestinians set off across the devastated Gaza Strip to return home. In sports, Nigeria's junior female Yellow Greens finally got a taste of the actions at the 2025 ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup in Malaysia, marking their delayed debut with a 2-run win over test-playing nation New Zealand. As it happened against Samoa on Saturday, Sarawak's rain delayed the game, but the Nigerian team's shine wasn't going to be denied again as the match began over 2 hours after its scheduled time with reduced overs. New Zealand elected to field first, sending the Nigerian batters into the crease. Enyimba International FC of Aba was on Sunday eliminated from the 2024 and 2025 CAF Confederation Cup following its 3-1 loss to host Zamalek SC of Egypt. The defeat was Enyimba's 3rd in 6 games as the People's Elephant finished 3rd with 5 points out of a possible 18. The Stanley Eguma two-third side had put themselves in a problematic spot following their 1-1 draw at home against Al Masry in their previous match. The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has set in motion concrete plans to organize a 4-month CAF B-license coaching course that is designed to enhance the capacity of Nigerian coaches and prepare them for current and future challenges. NFF Technical Director, Coach Augustine Egwavwen, says that the course is part of NFF's strategic effort to build the capacity of coaches across the country and will be done in models. In tennis, Novak Djokovic was at the center of another Australian Open row, while defending champion Jannik Sinner needed medical attention in fierce heat to battle into the quarterfinals. But American teenage qualifier Leonard Tien's fairy tale run is over after he suffered a thigh problem in a 4-set defeat to Italy's Lorenzo Sonego, with temperatures rising above 30 degrees Celsius for a second successive day. Ukraine's Elena Svitolina beats Veronika Kudermetova, then declines to shake the Russians' hand. And that's it on Global Television Midday News. And it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on StarTimes channel 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.